Hey guys, so I just wanted to run you through the software that comes with the machine. It's called LaserCAD, and this basically acts as the interface between your PC and the cutter, and it's really quite easy to use. So what you would do is, if you were using 2D design, this is AutoCAD but it will work in the same way. You would take your design and then save it as a DXF into a specific directory on your PC, say the desktop. You can then take that file and import it into LaserCAD as you would do just opening up any normal sort of file within Windows. So if we open that one that we've just saved, you can see it will come up in this preview window. That will then allow you to move the design anywhere you want on the page. It will allow you to copy and paste if you wanted to do sort of multiple copies of the design, and again you can drag them to wherever you want them to be on the page. You can use all the Windows shortcuts like Control and Z to undo if you found that there's something you're not happy with. You can obviously highlight different aspects and delete them if you don't want them. So this package basically gives you some editing functionality which the Universal software won't. Because once you send a file to a Universal cutter, it's basically, you know, that's pretty much what you see is what you get. Whereas with this, it does offer a little bit more flexibility in terms of sort of manipulating your designs and setting up jobs. So as you can see, it's picked up these different line colours that we've actually used to draw this design with, and that will sort of relate over here to your cut settings. So as you can see, it's picked up a green line and a black line. So if we double click on these, we can actually tell the machine what we want to do. So we can choose between whether it's an engrave or a cut, and then we can set up our sort of power here and our speed. So that the power is represented as a percentage of the maximum available, and the speed is represented in millimeters per second. So it's all very sort of intuitive and easy to sort of understand. Once we've made our changes, we click OK, and when we're happy with all of our settings and where the design is located on the page, we basically select download and download it to the machine. The machine will then bleep to let us know that it's actually received this file. So now this design is actually stored in the machine, so you could shut down your PC and the machine would still be able to run. So now we're at the machine, you can see that the controller now is displaying this file that we've just sent. So you can see it will show us the speed and the power that we've chosen for this design, and it will give us a little preview. There are some really useful features on these controllers. If we were to send files with different file names, we can actually go into this menu and it will display all of the files that we've sent. So we can sort of select the one that we want. We also have a bounding box feature, which I will show you in a minute, which will draw a box around the perimeter of the design, which is really useful for being able to judge whether the design will actually fit onto your piece of material. Obviously we have stop and start, it's pretty self-evident. We've got full axis control here, so we can move the tool head on the bed to where we want the starting position to be. Then we can select a job origin, so that's basically telling the machine the starting point of the job. Again, that's very useful for setting up more complex jobs, because the job doesn't have to start where you've placed it on the page. You can basically move the tool head to where you want the job to start and then origin it from that position. So that's pretty useful. So just going to show you the bounding box feature that I mentioned earlier. So we've loaded a piece of material into the machine, so if I press the box key now, the machine will draw a box around the perimeter of the design, which will allow you to see whether the design will actually fit onto the piece of material. So again, really useful feature. So let's say that we have a piece of material that might be damaged in this top area, and we actually want to use a piece of material that's lower down. We can actually move the tool head down. We can then press origin, which will re-origin that position as the starting point. If we now do another bounding box, we can see that the machine will actually start from that new position. So this is a feature that a lot of our clients do use when they've got lots of scrap pieces of material that they want to sort of utilise, and it saves you having to cut those pieces of material up just to get a sort of a decent piece out of it that you can use. You can basically just put the whole sheet into the machine, move the tool head to where you want the job to start, and then start it from that position. So really useful. So on the Solo manual, the focal height of the lens has to be set in relation to the thickness of the material, and on this model that's actually done manually. It's actually really easy to do because we have one of these focusing tools, so we slide that underneath the nozzle, lower the nozzle down to the material until we achieve that specific height. And then that's the focal height set and the job is ready to go. So another really useful feature as well for setting up jobs is the ability to change between whether you're jogging the tool head fast or slow. So the reason for that is that obviously I've loaded a piece of scrap material here and we've got a small design sent to the machine. If I wanted to really kind of dial in where our starting position is, I can kind of move with the fast jog to the roughly the right position, and then if I press the slow button we can jog the tool head very, very slowly to get a little bit more accuracy in terms of where we want the job to start. If we then do an origin and do a bounding box, we can see that our job does indeed fit on the piece of material that we've got. So I've loaded in a piece of material and sent a job to the machine. I've set the origin point and I've set the focal height. The only thing I need to do now is press start. So there's an automatic air assist compressor built into the machine that starts and stops automatically when you're running a job, so you don't need to worry about switching on your air pump. It's all handled automatically for you. So that job is now cut. So just a quick thing regarding safety features. So the machine is fully interlocked, so if we were to start a job and open the lid, the machine will stop automatically. It has two redundant interlocks, so one will cut the laser out completely, instantly, and the other one will pause the controller. So when you close the lid and start the job going again, you don't lose your starting position, so you don't lose your work. Another safety feature as well is an emergency stop, so if anything does go wrong that you're uncomfortable with, you can either use the stop key on the controller or you can press the emergency stop, and that will basically shut the power to the machine instantaneously. The lights in the machine do still stay on, so at least you can kind of still see what's happening. So just a quick view of the back of the machine. You've got your input for your air assist, you've got your power for your air assist, which is an output from the machine. That switches on and off your air assist pump automatically when you're running a job. You've got your mains input. All of these connectors are locking, so you insert them and just lock them, and they're very, very robust. You've got an extraction point for your fume extraction, which is 100mm, and you've got all of the cooling for the laser, which is built into this thermal cooling module here. So the system is completely self-contained. Last but not least as well, obviously, is the interface to the PC. We've got both networking capability and your standard USB, and that's literally just a standard USB cable which plugs into the machine to give your connection to the computer. Obviously you can also put it on the network, so if you had a laptop, say, that was on a wireless network, you can send jobs to the machine completely wirelessly, providing that that laptop is obviously connected to your network. So just a quick bit of advice in terms of maintenance. The machines are really robust, so there's not really a lot of maintenance that you would need to do other than checking that these surfaces are kept clean and wiping them down with a bit of lubricant every now and then. The mirrors, any adjustments you would need to make to the mirrors, we make them all accessible, so you don't need any special tooling or anything to make any adjustments should you need to. These machines are pretty much permanently aligned, so they don't go out of optical alignment just during the course of normal use, so that's something that when the machine's installed and calibrated, you will never have to touch. The only other thing really is just making sure that your extraction is working efficiently. You've got like an extraction port in the back of the machine that will remove fumes from the top of the material, and you've also got a downdraft extraction system as well, which removes fumes from the underside of the material, so that will stop any sort of burning or too much tar accumulation on the bed and the underside of the materials that you're cutting. The honeycomb insert comes as standard. That's all removable as well, so should you need to take it out to kind of hoover the machine or clean the insert, you can. Literally just drops back in, pretty easy. This is a consumable part, so if it does get dirty and you need a new one, we stock these and they're very reasonably priced, so not really a problem.